My name is Holly Ware, and today I want to talk to you guys about how to ace an interview. Everyone wants to live life large, everyone wants to have money to blow, everyone wants to have money that they can never have to worry about. But you can't have money like that unless you have a good job. And you can't have the job unless you ace that first interview. First interview is the most essential part of your entire job experience. Without that, you would be broke. First impressions are the biggest part of the interview, I think. You have to dress very nicely. You have to be very conservative. You don't want your interviewer looking at what you're wearing rather than what you have to offer to his company. Also, you want to have minimal accessories. This means you don't want a big flashy necklace and earrings and bracelet on. You want to keep it very simple, just wear the essentials, and that's going to give a better first impression on your part. So now that you know what to wear, now you have to think about what time you're going to get there. You always want to arrive early. Being on time doesn't cut it for this. You want to be there about 10 to 15 minutes beforehand so you can relax and focus, and also so you can really take that time to plan what you're going to say to him whenever you first walk in there to meet him. If you don't think about it beforehand, you could go into the interview and you could really just mess up the entire thing because you wouldn't know what to say to him. This way you're going to go in with your thoughts gathered and you're ready to go. While you're sitting out in the waiting room and focusing on what you're about to say, it's always good to double check your list to make sure that you're prepared for everything. You want to make sure that you always have a copy of your resume. This way that you can leave that with your interviewer and he can look back over you afterwards to see, to really think further on whether or not he wants you as a part of the company. You also want to have all of your important information. You want to have your driver's license on hand and your social security, just so that he can see that and really know that you mean business whenever you come into the office. You also want to have note-taking materials. This is a great first impression so that he knows that you really want to know everything you can about his company and that you can jot down things to take home and remember about what you learned that day's interview. A key thing that you always want to have is a notepad. With a notepad, you want to have a few extra pages in it so that you can jot down a lot of different things so that you don't have to worry about running out of room. Also, you want to make sure that you have a good pen. The notepad is useless if you don't have the pen. And if you have to ask for a pen, that's going to show you weren't fully prepared for the interview, and it's also going to give a bad impression. So now that you know what all is important to have with you, now it's time to go in and meet your interviewer. It's essential to have a strong handshake and good eye contact whenever you go in. This really shows that you mean business, and it actually says a lot about your character. You wouldn't think something that simple would mean anything, but it actually means a lot. Studies actually show that interviews can fail within the first 2 to 3 minutes just based off of the simple things like a handshake. It says 25% of people have a poor handshake and also don't use eye contact. 25% of people miss the simplest thing that can cost them the job. 24% have poor body language. You don't want to go in scratching at this boat bite you have and cracking your knuckles. That's not a very professional look. Also, 18% have poor posture. You don't want to conduct yourself as though you have no self-confidence. You want to hold yourself upright with your shoulders back to show that you are professional and that you mean business. And if he would ever want to take you to a big meeting somewhere, that you would know how to conduct yourself to represent the company well. Also, first off, you want to address your weaknesses. This shows that you have nothing to hide and that you want him to know that up front, so then you can move on to all the positive qualities about yourself. So now that you know what to do whenever you first go in, the next key part in an interview is wrapping it all up. You want to leave with him thinking, wow, that was a really great candidate for the job. I think that's who I want. You always want to leave telling your strengths, not boasting about yourself, but making them known, so that afterwards he can think back on the things that are most clear in his mind and most fresh, and that would be all of your great confidence and those sort of things that he could really take in his company and really help change it. That goes into wanting to leave a good impression. You want to smile and seem happy, seem confident, but not goofy. There's a fine line, and it's very careful to walk that line. Also, it's very good to ask for a business card. This way, you have all his contact information, telephone number, address, the company's address. So even if you don't get the job, you can still write a thank you letter for him inviting you into your interviewing session today. And maybe if you want to apply for it later on, he can look back and say, wow, this guy actually sent in a thank you card. That really says something about his character. It's just another way to leave a really great impression with your interviewer. Also, on your notepad, it's good before you go in, have some questions jotted down that you would like to ask. You want to seem as though you've already done some of your research into their company, and that way that they can know that this person really means business and they want to know more about it. They're not afraid to ask questions, and they're not afraid to admit that they, don't know some things. No one's perfect, and this is a way to show that you are comfortable with that. Everyone needs a good interview basis going into a job. It's essential, and with these few key tips, this can make it where everyone's on the same playing field, and there's no excuse not to get the job of your dream. Thank you.